Good morning everyone. Good morning Mr. Arya. Today I will presentation about my final project. So, this presentation will include the synopsis of the novel, my impression and the moral value that I get after I finish the novel. So, before I start the presentation from the synopsis, I will explain the novel that I have read and I analysis to the final project. So, this novels, the title of this novel is The Secret Garden by Frances Hudson Burnett. So, this novel was published in 1911 and have 27 chapters. So, uh, I will start the presentation from the synopsis of the novel, The Secret Garden. The story begins when 10 years old girl named Mary Lennox must to move from British India to Misselwith Manor to live with her uncle, Mr. Archibald Craven, because her parents died from a cholera epidemic in India. Moving into a large house with 1,000 locked doors, making Mary very boring. Mary very selfish, demanding, spoiled, arrogant, and rebellious because she was born in rich parents, but she don't have expected and love by her parents that caused Mary to have such an attitude. Everything starts to change when Mary befriends with her servants or her maid named Martha Sowerby. So Martha every day help Mary to prepare her clothes, her foods, and accompany her to play in the yard. One day, Martha tells Mary about her auntie, Lilia Craven, who always spent time in the garden to growing rose. But she died in the park by an accident. So, Mr. Archibald Craven decided to look the garden and bury the key. And one sunny day, Mary was playing skipping rope in the yard, and she saw the bird named Robin pecking at the moon, and it turned out to be the key to the garden that had been buried for 10 years. So the key to the secret garden is the beginning of Mary to reopening her spirit of life. Unnoticed by adults, Mary, Martha, and Martha's brother, Deacons, together began fix the garden and that has forgotten for 10 years. One stormy night, Mary hear scream and cry, and she decided to phone the voice, and finally she find the child same age with Mary live in a hidden room, who turns out to be her cousin named Colin. Like Mary, Colin's selfish, demanding, spoiled, arrogant, temperamental, and bossy. Do his fear that his illness will get worse and die. Slowly, they become close and always exchange ideas about the secret garden. Until that, Colin decide to move from her room, a hidden room, to uh, to went the secret garden with Mary, and Colin meet Martha, Deacon, and Will Craters, who always come with Deacons. And finally, Colin dared to get out of his wheelchair and learn to walk normally like any other child in the Yorkshire. And after say a little bit can to stand up straight and make a healthy body, she decided to surprise her father when we come from out of the town. And slowly, Mary and Colin become cheerful, happy, healthy, and had a good attitude. The week they arrived, Mr. Archibald Craven returned home, and here his son was in the garden which he had looked for 10 years. He slowly entered and found Colin standing straight like any other child in Yorkshire. That's making him so very happy and walking proudly out of the garden with the Colin. So this all plot from the first and the last from this novel. The second is my impression after I finish the novel. After I finish this novel, I have two impressions. The first is I happy to read and finish this novel, but I have a little bit disappointed after I finish this novel. So I happy to read and finish this novel because this novel realized that being a rich kid is not always easy, especially when parents don't care about them. And this novel has simple storylines make me enjoy for reading and finish this novel. And the second, why I a little disappointed to read and finish this novel because at the end or the ending of this novel, that's after Mr. Archibald Cravens come out of the garden with Colin, but did not explain how life of Martha, Mary, Deacon, and any others. That's made me feel little bit disappointed. And this novel use some thick Yorkshire accent, so who have a limited knowledge of the language, it will be difficult to understand the plot. And the last is the moral value that I get after I finish this novel. And the last is the moral value that I get after I finish this novel. So I have two moral value. The first is when we dare to believe and when we dare to take chance, then everything will come through like a magic. And the second, parents should pay more attention to their children because the selfishness of children like Mary and Colin experience tends to arise because of the loneliness that they keep to themselves. So that's all about my presentation today, and thank you for your attention.